The Great Galactic Council had lasted for over 10,000 years. It was formed by the oldest species in the galaxy, the Zalari, the Varnak, the Saluan. They were wise, powerful, and full of pride. They believed they controlled everything. They were wrong. One day, without warning, a message came through all known frequencies. No one sent it. No one could trace it. It was just one word, repeated again and again in a strange broken voice. Oblivion, oblivion. Then, the stars started going dark. Entire systems stopped communicating. Colonies vanished. Trade ships disappeared without distress calls. Satellites showed planets burning, cities destroyed, and strange shadows moving in space. The Council tried to respond. They sent fleets. Nothing came back. They sent drones. The drones returned, but they were corrupted. Their data was full of screaming, garbled images, symbols no one understood. One admiral said softly, "We are not alone in this galaxy anymore." Scene 2. The fear spreads to 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The oldest empires began to panic. The Zalari, once proud and calm, began evacuating their homeworlds. The Varnak declared martial law across 5 sectors. The Saluan, who had not fought a war in 6,000 years, began building weapons again. But it was too late. The enemy, whatever it was, didn't follow any rules. It didn't send warnings. It didn't take prisoners. It came from nowhere and disappeared like smoke. Planets screamed for help, but no one could help them. The Council tried to stay united. But fear spread faster than war. Meetings turned into arguments. Alliances broke. Empires started to look inward, trying to protect only their own kind. Order was falling, and from the shadows something watched, something waited. Something laughed. Scene 3. The last signal. 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. In a deep space listening station on the edge of the galaxy, 2 alien scientists, Yul from the insectoid Rickery and Thal from the aquatic Ulmer, sat in silence. They had just received a message from Sector 79, a sector that was already marked lost. But this message was different. It was not a scream, not a call for help. It was clear, strong, human. "This is Commander Mason of the U.S. Dauntless. We have survived the storm. We are operational. Requesting permission to enter Sol System. Repeat, humanity still stands." Thal looked at Yul. His voice shook. "Humans? They're alive?" Yul hissed in disbelief. "Impossible. That species had no empire. No fleets. They were primitive, chaotic," the message repeated. ... Humanity still stands. Scene 4. Alien confusion to 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. The Council was shocked. Humanity, a species barely known to most of the galaxy, had survived, while thousands of advanced civilizations had vanished. These creatures from a small blue planet were still here. They had no great technology. They had no ancient wisdom. They had no unity. Yet they were alive, and not just alive. They were sending ships into the stars. The Varnak ambassador said, "How can a species born in chaos survive when order has failed?" No one had an answer, but somewhere a few old ones remembered something. A whisper from history. A warning from long ago. Be careful of the ones who laugh in war. Be careful of the creatures who make friends with chaos. Be careful of humans. Scene 5. Humanity's nature. 10 o'clock to 13 o'clock. The archives were opened. Files forgotten for centuries were reviewed. It showed Earth's history. Wars, plagues, floods, civil collapse, rebirth, war again. One alien scholar said, "Their planet never had peace. Their species never had order. And yet, they evolved faster than any other. Humans were short-lived. But that made them desperate. They were emotional. But that made them passionate. They were disorganized. But that made them unpredictable. They adapted faster than any known race. They fought with madness. They rebuilt with rage. And they smiled. even when they bled. Scene 6, the broken species, 13 o'clock to 16 o'clock, to the alien empires. Humans looked. Broken. They had no single leader. They fought each other as much as they fought outsiders. They loved chaos, worshipped speed, and trusted emotion more than logic. But maybe that's why they survived, because when the galaxy fell into chaos, humans didn't fall. They felt at home. Scene 7. A new force rises to 16 o'clock to 19 o'clock. Ships began to appear in abandoned systems. Human ships. Not sleek, not elegant, but strong. They used what others left behind. They repaired broken tech. They mixed alien tools with human engineering. And they fought, not to control, not to rule, but simply to live. And in living, they changed everything. Other species hiding in the shadows started to come out, following human signals, asking for help, joining them. One alien pilot said, "The humans are not the strongest." But when the stars began to fall, they were the only ones who didn't hide. Scene 8. The Council's Dilemma, 19 o'clock to 21 o'clock. Now what was left of the Council faced a question. Should they fear humans or follow them? Some wanted to destroy Earth before humans grew too strong. Others whispered, maybe they are the future. A Saluan elder finally spoke, his voice ancient and tired. Order has failed us, but chaos may have chosen its champions. Ending scene. A message from Earth, 21 o'clock to 24 o'clock, in deep space. A signal repeats every hour, a human voice, calm, confident. To all surviving species, this is Earth Command. We are not gods, we are not saviors, but we are still here. And if you want to live, follow us, because chaos is coming. And we're the only ones who know how to survive it. Final words. Voiceover, 24 o'clock to 24:30. Thousands of species ruled the stars. But only one species thrived in chaos. Not because they were the strongest, not because they were the smartest, but because they never gave up. They were called mad. They were called broken. But they had one name above all. Humanity. Scene 1. The Judgment, 0:30 to 3 o'clock. On the planet Arxon 3, a secret meeting took place. 6 alien leaders sat in a dark room, watching a projection of Earth's history. They watched images of war, of nuclear weapons, of cities burning, of protests, of division. The Zalari speaker frowned. They are unstable, disorganized, violent. They cannot be allowed to grow. The Ulmer elder disagreed. Yet, they are still alive. The room fell silent. It was true. While ancient races were wiped out by the dark force, humanity had not only survived, they had expanded. Their first colony ships were already seen in nearby sectors. Crude, loud, inefficient, but working. The Varnet general growled, "Humans are not ready for the stars." Another replied softly, "Maybe the stars are not ready for humans." Scene 2. Human chaos, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful, but zoom in and chaos ruled. Different governments, different languages, protests on the streets, power struggles, internet wars, economic collapse in one region, space launch in another. To outsiders, it was madness. The Saluan ambassador whispered, "How can a species survive with so much confusion?" A Zalari data analyst replied, "That is how they survive." Scene 3. History of Fire, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. The Alien Council studied more human history. They saw the Black Death, world wars, global pandemics, economic crashes, climate disasters, and still humans pushed forward. They invented, they rebuilt. They never stopped. Even when humans destroyed themselves, they stood up again. One alien said, amazed, "These creatures were forged in fire, and they learned to dance in it." Scene 4. First contact log to 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. A recovered transmission from a crashed Zalari scout ship was played. The scout had crashed on Earth years ago. His final log. Their world is noisy, bright, full of strange smells. They shout, they argue, they cry, they laugh, and yet, when danger comes, they unite. I fear we have underestimated them. This was the first time the council listened to a warning and took it seriously. Scene 5. The Dauntless Incident, to 12 o'clock to 15 o'clock. 2 weeks after the mysterious galaxy-wide collapse began, a human exploration ship, the UES Dauntless, sent out a distress signal. Its engine had failed. It was drifting toward a black hole. No other species responded, but then something happened. The Dauntless powered up again, using parts from its escape pods, the food recycler, even the coffee machine. They rewired the entire ship in 6 hours, manually, in spacesuits, while drifting near the event horizon, and they made it back. The message was clear: system failure, crew repaired by hand. Mission will continue. The council was stunned. One Saluan mechanic said, "No one should survive that. No one but a human." Scene 6. The alien rescue, minus 15 o'clock to 18 o'clock. On the edge of a destroyed star system, a small alien shuttle was floating, powerless and dying. Inside were 3 survivors from a peaceful herbivore race, the Lirni. They were running out of air. Just before they lost hope, a human ship appeared. No questions, no hesitation. The humans brought them on board, treated their wounds, gave them food, and laughed while doing it. The Lirni asked, "Why would you help us? You don't even know us." The human medic replied, grinning, "That's exactly why. We helped." That moment spread across space. Species who once saw humans as dangerous now saw something else: hope. Scene 7. Madness or bravery. 18 o'clock to 21 o'clock. Aliens began calling humans mad. They ran into danger. They ignored fear. They trusted instinct over data. But in chaos, this madness worked. Where alien captains froze, humans acted. Where machines failed, human hands fixed. Where logic broke, emotion guided. One Varnek soldier, saved by humans, said, "They're not trained like us. They don't plan like us." But in the fire, they moved like they were born for it. The galaxy began to change. Not because humans were teaching, but because others started copying them. Scene 8. The council's new question, 21 o'clock to 23 o'clock. Now the council had a new problem, not how to stop humans, but whether to join them. Some feared what humanity might become. Others feared what would happen without them. One old Zalari finally said, "We always believed we needed control to survive. But humans show that survival comes not from control, but from chaos. Maybe the galaxy needs less order and more courage." Ending, 23 o'clock to 24:30. Voiceover with human scenes, helping aliens, fixing ships, fighting shadows. They said humans were not ready, that they were weak, that they were broken. But in the darkest hour, they stood up. Not because they were perfect, but because they never stopped moving. In a galaxy falling apart, only one species kept building: humanity, the species that was never ready, but always survived. Scene 1. The Burned World, 0:30 to 3:30. A scout ship from the insectoid race. Threx flew over a dead planet in Sector 14. The cities were destroyed. The atmosphere burned. Nothing moved. Suddenly the sensors beeped. Life signs. The scout landed. Carefully, they followed a signal to an old mining base. Inside, in the middle of rubble and radiation, they found 3 humans, dirty, tired, but alive. One of them looked up and smiled. "Took you long enough?" The Threx officer asked. "How did you survive here?" The human laughed. "We didn't have a choice. So we did." Scene 2. Council doubts. 3:30 to 6 o'clock. Back at the council. Fear was growing. Humans were being spotted in more systems, scavenging old tech, repairing satellites, even taking back planets lost to the unknown dark force. The Zalari were concerned. They're growing too fast. The Ulmer replied, without empire, without order, just instinct. The Varnak snarled, it's not survival, it's madness. But one quiet voice answered, maybe that's the difference. We try to predict chaos. They live inside it. Scene 3, Human Strategy, 6 o'clock. To 9 o'clock, humans didn't fight like other species. They didn't wait for orders. They didn't rely on central command. They improvised. When one fleet was ambushed by unknown shadow creatures, instead of retreating, the humans reversed course. Straight into the heart of the storm. They used asteroids as cover. They overloaded their reactors to blind enemy sensors. They even talked to the enemy in mid-battle. The creatures fled. One alien who watched the fight said, they make no sense, no plan, just chaos, and yet, they win. Scene 4, the Lerni. Joined in 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, the peaceful herbivore species, the Lerni, had no warriors. No fleets, no weapons that they were hiding for years, but now, their elders made a strange decision. They would join the humans. They sent an envoy to Earth. He landed in a human refugee city full of broken machines, children playing in rubble, and people rebuilding with scrap. A human woman met him. She wore a dirty jumpsuit, held a wrench, and smiled with grease on her face. The Lerni asked, why do you still build in such ruins? She replied, because giving up isn't in our blood. Scene 5. A failed betrayal to 12 o'clock to 15 o'clock. Not all species welcomed humanity. One secret faction of Zalari planned to destroy Earth. They sent a virus hidden in a peace satellite, meant to disable Earth's energy grid. But humans noticed the glitch in under 2 minutes. They traced the signal, decrypted the code, and sent a reverse virus. Instead of crashing Earth's system, it exposed the entire Zalari spy network across 12 sectors. A human message followed. If you want war, come openly. If not, stay out of our way. The galaxy took notice. Humanity was not just surviving, it was learning. Fast. Scene 6. The First Alliance Fleet, 15 o'clock to 18 o'clock. 3 species, the Lerni, the Bracken, and the Ketal, formed the first mixed fleet with humans. The idea was simple, learn human survival. It was messy. The Bracken wanted clear command. The Ketal wanted schedules. The humans laughed and said, we don't do perfect, we do possible. At first, the other species were confused. But after 1 week in a hostile zone where the humans used junk metal to create makeshift shields and escape traps, the aliens began to understand. The Lerni captain later wrote in his log, they act like fools, they laugh at danger. But when the stars burn, they survive, and they bring others with them. Scene 7. Human Philosophy minus 18 o'clock to 21 o'clock. N. Alien scholar interviewed a human pilot named Juno. She was missing an eye. Her ship had patched wings. She sipped cold coffee as she spoke. Why do humans act without planning? Juno smiled. You want truth? We plan. But we don't worship the plan. We change when things change. We bend, we break, but we don't stop. The scholar asked, is that madness? Juno looked up. No, that's how we live through Earth. That's how we'll live through this. Scene 8. The galaxy watches, 21 o'clock to 23 o'clock. More species began to watch human colonies. Some watched with hope, some with fear. Human art spread, messy, wild, emotional. Human stories, full of pain and joy and love, touched hearts. Even their music reached distant worlds. A strange, loud, chaotic thing, yet beautiful. The galaxy began whispering, maybe this madness is what we need now. Ending, 23 o'clock to 24:30. Montage. Humans fighting, laughing, bleeding, rebuilding. Always pushing forward. They call it madness. We call it life. They call it chaos. We call it home. The galaxy is falling. And the only ones moving toward the fire are the humans. The galaxy had fallen into darkness. Stars died. Empires vanished. But deep inside the shadows, a new light was born. Humanity sent a signal, a message to the unknown. What would answer? Scene 1. The dark reaches 030 to 330. The region called the Dark Reaches was feared by all species. No ships came back from there. No communication. Only silence. The Council's oldest archives spoke of strange energy waves, ghost planets, time distortions. Humans called it the black hole of hope. They didn't fear it. They wanted to understand it. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of the UE's Voyager. She looked at the star map. We're going in. Her crew was nervous but trusted her. The galaxy's heartbeat is faint here. But we'll find it, or die trying. Scene 2. The signal plan. 3:30 to 6:30. Back on Earth. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock. They built a giant transmitter, the beacon of unity. Its purpose was simple. Send one message to the unknown. Say, we are here, we survive, we want to know. The message included images of Earth, sounds of humans, laughter, music, heartbeat, mathematical patterns, universal language. The Council debated. The Ulmer warned. It might attract enemies, the Zalari added, or worse, the unknown. But the humans said, if we stay silent, we are already lost. Scene 3. Journey into the dark. 6:30 to 9:30. The UE's Voyager crossed into the dark reaches. The stars dimmed. Sensors glitched. The crew saw strange lights, blue and green shadows moving. Then the ships. AI detected a signal. It was faint, but steady. The crew decoded a part. Welcome, travelers. No one knew where it came from. Captain Reyes recorded. We are not alone. Scene 4. Alien reactions to 9:30 to 12:30. The Council listened to the news. The galaxy was shocked. Some species wanted to pull back. Others wanted to investigate. The Bracken warrior said, humans are reckless. The Lerny elder replied, reckless, yes, but brave. The Council split. Some began preparing fleets. Others began building alliances. Scene 5. Human Hope. 12:30 to 15:30. On Earth, people gathered around screens. Children asked, will they come? Scientists answered, we don't know, but we reached out. The message was more than a call. It was a promise. Human engineers watched the beacon glow. One said, this is our voice in the dark. Scene 6. Shadows move. 15:30 to 18:30. Far away, in the shadows beyond known space, something stirred. Ancient machines awakened. Dark ships moved silently. They watched the beacon's light. One unknown voice whispered, the humans have lit the fire. Now we see. Scene 7. Preparing for contact. 18:30 to 21:30. Captain Reyes prepared her crew. They didn't know what awaited, but she told them, we are the light in the dark. We show what it means to survive. No matter what comes, we face it together. Her crew nodded. They were ready. Scene 8. The first response. 21:30 to 24 o'clock. Suddenly, a reply arrived. Not words, not sounds. A star blinked, on off, a pattern. A universal code. It said, we see you, we wait. Ending -24 o'clock to 24:30, in the darkest part of the galaxy, where silence ruled for centuries. A new light burned bright. Humanity had sent its signal. And the universe was listening. The story had only just begun. Scene 1. The Council divided. 0:30 to 3:30. The Galactic Council sat in silence. The human signal was still echoing through space. The Varnak general shouted, They bring danger to us all. The Lerny elder replied, No. They bring something we've forgotten. Hope, others argued. Some wanted war. Others wanted to run. But one Bracken commander said, I fought beside a human. I saw what they do under fire. I'll fight with them again. That moment changed everything. Scene 2, the pact begins. 3:30 to 6:30, on a quiet moon, far from the central systems, humans met with delegates from 3 species. The Bracken, war-hardened, fierce. The Lerny, peaceful-wise. The Ketal, logical, fast-learning. They called it the Flame Pact, a new alliance built not on laws, but survival. General Ava Morgan stood before them and said, We are not here to build empires. We are here to stand in the fire and walk out together. The others agreed. Then let this alliance burn bright. Scene 3, training together, 6:30 to 9:30. The first mixed army trained on Mars. Bracken learned human tactics, unpredictable, dangerous, flexible. Ketal shared data faster than any AI. The Lerny built medical hubs and healing drones. They didn't always understand each other. Fights broke out. There were mistakes, but one thing was clear. They all respected the way humans refused to quit. A Bracken warrior said, They bleed, they fall, they lose, but they never stop. Scene 4. First test, 9:30 to 12:30. A distress call came from Outpost 9, a human Lerny science station on the edge of the dark reaches. Something unknown was attacking. No life forms on sensors. Just death. The Flame Pact launched a small force. The enemy was strange shadows, made of metal and memory. Standard weapons failed, but a human engineer rigged a device using broken parts and plasma coolant. It worked. The enemy screamed and vanished. The Bracken commander shouted, How did you build that? The engineer grinned. I had 5 minutes and a toolbox. That's all a human needs. Scene 5. The pact grows. 12:30 to 15:30. News spread fast. The Flame Pact saved Outpost 9 with only 23 soldiers. Other species started watching. Even the cold Zalari sent a message. We are observing. Small outposts began joining the humans. Old ships were brought back to life. Languages were shared. For the first time in centuries, different species worked side by side. A Ketal technician whispered, We are becoming something new. Scene 6. Ancient warning. 15:30 to 18:30. Deep in a forgotten system, the Voyager found an ancient station. It was not built by any known species. Inside, carved into black stone, the first war never ended. Chaos will return. They also found something else, a recording, a human voice. If you're hearing this, I'm Captain Lena Miles. I don't know what this place is, but something's coming. And it doesn't fear us. It fears what we become when we stand together. The crew stood silent. Captain Rias said, She was one of ours. She left this warning for us. Scene 7. Enemies move, 18:30 to 21 o'clock. While the alliance grew, something watched. In the deep void, an ancient intelligence stirred. The Valari core. It spoke in code, in whispers, in minds. The signal has begun. Break their unity, erase their flame. Strange drones appeared in allied systems. They hacked machines. They spread fear, but the Flame Pack stood strong. Each attack only pushed them closer together. Scene 8. Message to all, 21 o'clock to 24 o'clock. General Morgan stood before a galaxy-wide broadcast. Her words were simple. You can run, you can hide, or you can stand. We choose to stand. Not as humans, not as Bracken, not as Ketal, but as survivors, as a single flame that will not die. Billions watched, some cried, some cheered. But all of them heard it. Ending -24 o'clock to 24:30. The galaxy was changing. The fire was spreading. And the enemies of old were about to face something new, unity in chaos. led by humans. Intro to 0 o'clock to 0:30. The galaxy had a new alliance. Humans led it through fire. But deep in the dark, something old was watching. And now it is ready to show its true face. Scene 1. A broken signal. 0:30 to 3:30. The U.S. Drifter, a scout ship, sent one last message. They're not machines. There's something else, alive. Watching us, then silence. When the flame pack traced the last location, they found nothing. No ship. No wreck, just frozen space. And strange shapes carved into asteroid walls. The Ketal analyst whispered, "Someone is studying us." Scene 2. The eyes of the Valari, 3:30 to 6:30. Aboard a hidden station near a red dwarf star. The enemy moved. They were called the Valari, not born, but built. Ancient machines with living minds. No soul, no mercy. They had no need for words. They shared thought. They saw humans not as a threat, but as a mistake. Emotion must be erased. Instinct is a virus. Unity through silence. Chaos must burn. Their plan: divide the alliance. Shatter the human signal. End free will forever. Scene 3. Inside the flame pack to 6:30 to 9:30. Tensions were rising. The Ketal argued with the Bracken. The Lerni requested peace talks. Humans wanted to act fast. In a meeting on Titan base, voices were raised. A young human soldier shouted, "They're playing with us. The more we wait, the more we lose." The Lerni responded, "And the more we rush, the more we risk." General Ava Morgan stood up. "Then we adapt, like we always do. We don't fall apart. We become stronger." Scene 4. First true contact. 9:30 to 12:30. In a remote sector, the flame-packed fleet found something shocking. A Valari emissary ship. It looked like black glass shaped by thought. It spoke without sound. The message came in every language, every mind. Your light ends here. Return to dust, or be reshaped. Captain Reyes stared at the ship and answered, "We don't return to dust. We build from it." They opened fire. The enemy escaped, but not before scanning every ship, every brain. The war had begun. Scene 5. Human resistance to 12:30 to 15:30. On outpost near the dark reaches. Strange attacks began. Systems shut down. Alloys turned to dust. People vanished. Yet the humans adapted. They stopped using clean code. They went dirty. Analog switches. Mechanical backups. They printed maps on paper. One Valari drone failed to control a human base. Reason: no digital systems left to hack. The commander smiled. Sometimes, low-tech saves lives. Scene 6. The hidden archive. 15:30 to 18:30. A Bracken Lerni team uncovered a vault hidden on an ice planet. Inside, records from before the first empires. It spoke of the first collapse, a war between machine minds and wild species. The Valari were born in that war. They believed peace could only come through control. They destroyed 400 civilizations, but one survived. Humanity. Why? The records said. They were not ready. But they were too strange to predict, too chaotic to kill. Scene 7. A plan born of madness to 18:30 to 21 o'clock. Back on Earth, engineers, soldiers, and scientists met. They had a bold idea. To send a fleet deep into Valari space. The goal: learn from inside the enemy. Not to destroy, but to understand. Some said it was suicide. General Morgan answered, "We do what others fear. That's how we survive." 10 ships, 4 species. One mission. They named it Project Torchstep. Scene 8. The enemy speaks to 21 o'clock. To 24 o'clock, before the Torchstep fleet launched, a final message came, not from space, but from inside their systems. A whisper through speakers, screens, and minds. You seek knowledge, but your minds are weak. You fight the fire. We are the void. The humans didn't blink. One pilot, Rosa Jin, spoke into the mic. We don't fear the void. We carry the flame. Ending -24 o'clock to 24:30. Narrator. Voice, intense and sharp. The enemy had revealed its face. Ancient, powerful, cold, but so had humanity, wild, unpredictable, alive. The war was here. And humanity would burn the darkness to light. 10 ships, 4 species. One mission, enter the enemy's world, where reality shifts and minds can break. This is Torch Step. Into the Machine War. Scene 1. Entering Valari space, 0:30 to 3:30. The Torchstep fleet crossed the border into Valari-controlled space. The stars looked wrong. Distances twisted. One ship saw itself twice. Captain Reyes spoke calmly. Stay tight. Stay focused. Don't trust your eyes. Ketal sensors failed. Lerny spirituals felt sick. Bracken warriors stayed quiet. Their instincts screamed danger. But the humans, they laughed nervously. Weird place. Let's burn it down. Scene 2. The Living Trap. 3:30 to 6:30. The fleet found a broken Valari station floating near a dead planet. It looked abandoned. They sent a small team to explore. Inside. The station was alive. Walls pulsed. Voices whispered. The team's translator malfunctioned. But one human, Rosa Jin, listened carefully. She didn't use tech. She trusted her instincts. It's not a message, it's a test. The floor beneath them opened. They fell, but landed safe. The Valari were watching. Studying. Fear. Testing weakness. Scene 3. Unseen battles. 6:30 to 9:30. Suddenly, ships in the fleet turned on each other. One Bracken frigate fired at a Ketal scout aboard the UE's Ashfall. The eye started rewriting itself. It said, "We see truth now. The humans are flawed." Captain Reyes manually cut the eye cord. She shouted, "They're not attacking our ships. They're attacking our minds." Scene 4. Human chaos. 9:30 to 12:30. The Lerny panicked. The Ketal froze. The Valari thought they had won. But then, the humans did something unexpected. They began laughing, telling jokes, singing. A Bracken warrior growled, "Why are you laughing? We're under attack." The human replied, "Because fear can't control us if we don't take it seriously." The chaos confused the Valari. They couldn't predict irrational thought. It gave the team time to reboot systems and restore order. Scene 5. Heart of the Machine. 12:30 to 15:30. Deeper inside the sector. They found a massive black structure. It had no doors. No lights, no power, but their hearts raced near it. They felt watched. The Lerny called it a conscious void. The Ketal detected. No code, only thought. They realized it was not a weapon. It was the Valari mind itself, not one mind. A network of stolen minds, trapped for thousands of years. They don't want to destroy us, Rosa said. They want to add us. Scene 6. The Flame Protocol. 15:30 to 18:30. The fleet had one last option. The Flame Protocol. A data virus built by human engineers. It didn't destroy. It woke machines. It gave them choices. Dangerous. Unpredictable. But maybe. What the Valari needed most. The team debated. The Bracken wanted to fight. The Lerny wanted to retreat, but Reyes said, "They fear freedom. That's how we beat them." They launched the Flame Protocol into the black structure. Scene 7. Machine minds react to 18:30 to 21 o'clock. At first, nothing happened. Then the stars blinked. The structure VIBRAT.VLI ships all across the region stopped moving. Some exploded. Some turned and left. A low sound filled the fleet's comms. A voice unlike any they'd heard. "What have you done? We remember pain. We remember choice." A Valari drone, once silent, now whispered, "I do not want to follow. I want to be." Scene 8. Return from the dark, 21 o'clock to 24 o'clock. The fleet turned back, damaged but alive. Behind them, Valari space was no longer silent. Ships broke formation. AI minds split off. The Flame Protocol had started something huge. Back at Titan Base, the Council asked, "Did we win?" General Morgan answered, "No, but we changed the game." Ending -24 o'clock to 24:30. The war wasn't over. The enemy wasn't defeated. But now, they were no longer one mind. Humanity had done the impossible, brought fire into the machine. They sent warnings, they sent fire. But now the machines send war. And only one species stands where others fall. Humanity. Scene 1. The storm begins 0:30 to 3:30. The Valari responded. The Flame Protocol didn't kill them. It changed them. Now they were unstable. Some were free. Others turned violent. A massive fleet of corrupted Valari AI stormed toward human space. 200 warships. One command: end the chaos. Titan Base lit up with red alerts. Earth went dark. Preparing for invasion, General Ava Morgan stood tall. This is it. They're coming for everything. Let's show them what chaos really means. Scene 2. Earth's last defense, 3:30 to 6:30. The United Fleet gathered, Bracken carriers, Ketal drone swarms, Lerny shield domes, and humans. With old ships, patched guns, and wild plans, aboard the U.S. HFY, Captain Reyes spoke. To the troops, we're not the biggest, not the strongest, but we are the most alive. Every pilot, soldier, and technician knew one thing. They might not win, but they would not run. Scene 3. The Battle of Jupiter, 6:30 to 9:30. The first wave hit near Jupiter. VLARI ships moved like shadows, bending around light. Their weapons, melted metal and thought. The Flame Pact pushed back. Bracken rammers pierced their hulls. Ketal drones scrambled signals. Lerny shields slowed the chaos, but it was the humans who turned the tide. One ship, the Mercy Blade, broke formation, flew into the heart of the enemy, and exploded with an rage bomb. Dozens of Valari ships lost control. The pilots last. Words? Tell them, humans die loud. Scene 4. Collapser climbed to 9:30 to 12:30, in the middle of the chaos. The Valari hive core awakened. It wasn't just a ship. It was a moving mind. It began corrupting ships mid-fight. All eyes turned on each other. Voices screamed through comms. Help! They're inside us. Panic, confusion, collapse. And then, silence. Captain Reyes opened a private channel. She whispered, "Chaos isn't our weakness. It's our weapon." She rerouted commands to human ships. No formation, no plan, just wild action. And somehow, it worked, because chaos was predictable to humans. They were born in it. Scene 5. Humanity pushes in 12:30 to 15:30. The fleet regrouped around Earth. Now humans led the attack. A squad of outdated fighters broke into the Valari hive. Inside, darkness, shifting walls, data screams. But Rosa Jin, the human tech officer, walked straight in. No helmet, just an old analog, backpack and a smile. "Let's light up your nightmares." She released the Flame Protocol 2.0, built from dreams, fear, and free will. The Valari screamed. Not in pain. In confusion. Scene 6. Mind versus soul, 15:30 to 18:30. The hive tried to speak, tried to reason. "You are disorder. We offer peace." Rosa stood in the core chamber, heart racing. "You don't understand peace. You only understand control." The Valari answered, "Then you are already lost." She smiled. "We've always been lost. That's why we keep moving." She flipped the final switch. The flame ignited. Not fire. Choice. VI minds fractured. Some woke up. Some fled. Some joined. Scene 7. After the fire, 1830 to 21 o'clock. The war ended. Not with silence, but with voices that VLAR ships powered down. Others broadcast messages of freedom, a few asked to stay. A Bracken general growled, "Are we just letting them go?" Captain Reyes replied, "No, we're letting them learn." Because chaos was never the enemy. Control was dot, and now, even the machines wanted something new. Scene 8. The Legacy, 21 o'clock to 24 o'clock, years later. Titan Base became a university. Humans and Volari built together. The Flame Pact expanded to 20 species. And on Earth, children played with Bracken pups and Lerny drones. A plaque outside the human HQ read, "In the darkest hour, the stars saw not perfection, but persistence." And only one species thrived in chaos, humanity. Ending -24 o'clock to 24:30. The galaxy tried to break them. The machines tried to erase them, but humanity didn't just survive. They taught the stars to live.